Good morning, students. Um, Today we are going to start up with a new chapter, which is chapter number 12, which is about the Constitution of India. And in this chapter, we are going to learn most probably about the important aspects of how and in what way the Constitution of India was brought about, and in what is the importance or what was the importance for which the Constitution of India was incorporated. And on the other hand, we are going to understand about the existence of preamble, the need exist the need requirement of the preamble of India that was constituted later on, or which was enacted in the Constitution of India. So as we all know that India got independent in 15 August 1947, long back ago from now. And but India was ruled by Britishers or a foreign country, the Britishers, for about 2 centuries, about 200 years. And when we got independence and when they left India, India was still not free. Now, in what sense it was not free? It was still not free from the rules and regulations of the British government that still existed in India. So, people of Indian content or Indian territories, important people, personalities which existed during the time, were involved during the time of freedom fight. They started thinking as to, we have got freedom from the Britishers, but we also want our own constitution, our own law body, our own law system into our own country of our own. So they thought to bring about or to formulate constitution, and that was the time the constitution was drafted in India. And when the constitution was drafted, there was an important committee that was made, which was known as the Constituent Assembly. The importance of Constituent Assembly was that it had a body of various different people who were involved in bringing about the formulation of the Constitution or drafting the Constitution. And it had various important personalities like Dr. Rajendra Prasad, then you have Sarojini Naidu, even you have Jawaharlal Nehru, who was one of the members, and various important people or personalities which existed during the time. And they gave importance to this constitution of law body or the law system in our country known as the Constitution of India. Now, this Constituent Assembly was the body which organized it or which constituted the or framed the uh, Constitution of India. It was headed by chairperson Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And from separate to this body, one more body was created that was known as the Drafting Committee, which actually drafted the Constitution of India. And when the drafting was done, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was appointed as the chairman of the drafting committee. It is said that it took a long period of time. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, with various different aspects of people or grounds of people in their own expertise, were there present as members of his drafting committee. There were various other different sectors of people or background of people who were there in this committee, who belonged from each and every sectors or categories of social life. He gathered information from all these aspects, and then he created the constitution. Then it is said that after a long toilation or hard work that they all prepared or they all did, what it took about, it is stated that it took about 2 years, 11 months. It took about 2 years 11 months and 18 days to formulate or to frame the Constitution of India. At last, in the period of 26 November 1949, the drafting of the Constitution or the completion of the Constitution was done. But still, after being it drafted, still it was not enacted in India. There was various reasons which delayed the enactment of the new constitution that was already made. It was said that as in the earlier times, in 1930s, there was a session or there was a committee being held in Lahore, which is known as the Lahore session, where Jawaharlal Nehru was the president. And during that time only they took a pledge that from now we will be considered or we will be considering ourselves independent, and we will fight for full freedom of this nation. And they hoisted the Indian flag during that time. So that was the moment which was special into the minds of the people or the constitutors of the constitution. So they took or enacted 26th January as the appropriate date for the implementation of the Constitution of India in India. And it was the day of 26 January 1950, that is almost around after 2 months, 2.5 months, that this constitution was fully implied in Indian territories or for the Indian people. And that is why 26 January is celebrated as Republic Day, or you can call it as the Constitutional Day of India. And that is in that regard, when the constitution was ready, it was made, India was regarded as a republic country, or a country which was democratic in nature as per the laws and principles and features that were incorporated by the constitutors of the Constitution of India. So this is the brief historical detail about how Constitution was, or it gave birth, or important people gave birth to the Constitution of India for the betterment of the development of the Indian people, in which foreign rules which were earlier prevalent were not being followed. It were the Indian system or Indian formulated laws that were practiced by the people of India and to be followed by the people of India. So this is the important introductory part which talks about the details. The next is about one of the other important aspect of the constitution was the preamble. Now the preamble. Preamble is considered as the opening statement of the Constitution. The Constitution of India starts with the words of the preamble, which starts stating, "We the people of India." Now here, the Constitution is regarded as the introduction or the opening gate of the Constitution, or the introductory part of the Constitution. And we state about the visions, the aspirations, the thoughts and the principles upon which the framers of the Constitution relied upon, and then they constituted this Constitution. It tells about the brief details about what our country is, what our nation should be called, and what category of people, or in what category or which system is to be followed by the country of or the citizens of India in every aspect, whether it be a government or a normal people or a normal citizens, considerably having equal things or privilege to be given equal to every one of us, where the activities of the government, the nature of the government, the form of the state is mentioned precisely in the Constitution and states in the preamble as an introductory substance. Now, The next question is about how and in what way the Constitution of India that we are studying about was framed, how it took. Now, as we know, that preamble states what? Starting, it starts with the word we the people of India. It states we the people of India. That means what? It is clearly stating that the persons or the people who were sitting in chairs, who toiled very hard, who worked very hard to enact this constitution or frame this constitution, were not from any foreign countries or not belonged to a citizen of a foreign country. They were one among us. Who were they? They were the people of India, one among us, who has framed this constitution. And for whom? For the people of India itself. So this statement simply states or gives this simple meaning about the authority or the benefits or for whom the Constitution of India was drafted. The authority of the government is derived from here. Which form of government is to be followed? How is to be followed? What are the basic things that has to be done, or rules, regulations that were formulated to state about the prevalence or the existence or the working of the government. Now, this is how the thought and the principle based upon which the constitution was framed and it was given to the people of India. Now, this states about the nature. What is the nature of the state, or what are the important impact or the nature upon which this principle or the constitution is based upon. It is said that when the preamble was written, it stated about by whom it was done. That was one of the citizens or the countrymen of our own birth who has taken birth in India itself, who has given his hard time or a valuable time in drafting this, and not in drafting this, earlier fighting for the freedom of the country. They stated about what exactly India is defined to be as, what kind of country it is. It stated about the nature of state. What nature does it belong from? In what way India is defined to be as? What is India? How is India? Now it is stated, various important points are mentioned here which states about India. It states here that India is number one. What kind of country? Sovereign country. Sovereign means what? What does it imply or what does it mean? Sovereign means a country which has its own rules, regulations, which has its own leader. It is independent from any other foreign country's rule, having its own head of the state who is known as the President of India, which is not controlled by any outside or foreign person or a foreign country. Means sovereign. Number two. Number two, it defines India to be a socialistic country. Now, what is meant by socialistic? It is implemented in one of the parts of the Constitution where it adds in the preamble of 1976. In 1976, in the preamble, there was an amendment or the Constitution amendment, which was this 42nd amendment, which considered or used the term of socialism. What does this word socialism mean? Now, socialism means whatever workings are being done by the government or an authorized authority. First of all, it is chosen by the people. So, it has to work for the welfare and the betterment of the people or the citizens, which will bring about the betterment and welfare of the nation as well. there should be equal distribution of each and every aspect of activities, or each and every aspect of opportunities that are being provided, where each and every group of the society should not be discriminated on any of these grounds, unwanted grounds of religion, gender, caste, creed, or anything, in regarding to giving them opportunities or providing them facilities. So the gap of social evil is narrowed down. With this perspective, the word socialistic, or later on socialism, was adopted, which defines India to be, or practicing, and a country like India to be practicing. The third part is India is known as a secular country. What does it mean being secular? Now, secular is a form of practice which is related to religion. Now, you will find that India has many different religions being practiced: Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christians, Parsis, even foreign traditions and practices and cultures are being practiced, which have been here from a long period of time, and they're still practiced, and which are recognized by our constitution. In the later amendments, it has been taken over. So, no people, it states that no individual, citizens or person in our country should be discriminated on any religious ground, or any opportunities that has to be provided. First of all, he should be provided as a citizens of India, without considering his religious background and from which religion he belongs to. So according to that, various other aspects also is given, where each and every individual is given equal right to practice or to take over any kind of religion on their own choices, can go to any place of worship and do their religious activities. It is not that a person goes to a mosque and does religious activities. No, individuals have their own religious places, and there, according following the customs and traditions, you can visit those religious places. And opportunities in regarding to any job, or opportunities in regarding to any kind of government facilities, or opportunities provided, should not be based on the ground of a religion, as India is considered to be a secular country. So India is described, also defined, to be a secular nation. The next is, India is described as democratic nation. Now, why it is now the India is considered as democratic nation? What does it mean? Now, democratic means what? In simple terms, democratic means a nation in which the government, whatever comes into power, are chosen by the voting system of the citizens of a country, whether it be a high level officer or a lower level up to the panchayat, to the higher level of the Prime Minister of India. So voting decides. It is the voting of the people who decides the fate of the government, or the formation of the government. Now it states, now when the government is formed, what is its duty to give? Now the government system, the democratic system, states one important mantra or important saying, that is, it states this way: by the people, for the people, and of the people. Now it states that the government should be formed by the voting of the people, for the betterment of the people, and of the benefits and privileges or the duties that has to be provided by the government and representative and individuals chosen by the people for the betterment of the nation, and for the betterment of the society. So these choices are given in a democratic form of government to the individuals or the citizens to give their important right on getting an age or attaining an age and choosing their own leaders to rule them in a proper or a better way to make this nation more peaceful, more developing in upcoming times. So India is divided or described or defined as a democratic nation. The next important thing it is divided into as India to be a republic. Republic nation. Now republic same, some points comes from the democratic part only, that the person who are holding an important government officers or government authorities are elected people, elected by the people, and there is no monarch or no autocratic or single authority rule. It is ruled according to rules and procedures formulated by the Constitution of India, where there are certain heads, or the head is the president, is the head of the state, and there are other important people who revolve around the administrative system, under which the prime minister, the other council of ministers are the workings, and their workings are also undertaken, and they have their own term period, a fixed term period. They cannot be chosen that a president comes into power, if his son is there, he will become the next president. No, it is not considered. Blood relation or by birth, having a dignity or having a position is not allowed in the system of Constitution of India or a republic system. There is always a voting system by which a person is elected, and according to that elected person he holds office, and his term is fixed for a particular period. Like for example, a president is elected for a term period of 5 years. If his term period gets over, or before term period for any of the systems, his office is vacant, a new president is again elected according to his merits and other procedural work as prescribed in the Constitution of India. So that is why the elections of the president are based totally on republic way. That defines, or which also defines, the system followed in India. So these are the 5 important definitions of India. That India, what it is? India is a sovereign country, free from any rule of foreign. India is a socialistic country, providing equal opportunity and fair opportunities, privilege to everyone, regardless of any kind of discrimination. The third, India is a secular country, where no religious bifurcations or differentiation is to be made, dividing person on the basis of religion in any way. The fourth states about that India is a democratic country, where people play a very important role by providing their votes, giving their votes, and then electing a government. And lastly is that India is a republic country, where India is considered to be a country which has its own head of the state, but it is not permanent like monarchs or autocrats. By birth they get their position transferred from one to another. In republic, a person is elected as the head of the state. Once his term period of 5 years gets over, another person, according to the merit basis or election basis, selection basis, he takes over the seat as the president of India. So this defines, these 5 important things defines about the nature of the state, or defines about what India is. So we'll end up for today up to it. We'll continue with the closing part of this chapter, where we are going to discuss about the objectives for which the Constitution, or aims, or the main reason for which the Constitution of India was enacted. Thank you very much. Go through the note and have a complete details about this chapter, which will be very important for your upcoming higher classes also. Thank you very much.